Ragnar was taken aback for a moment. He didn't expect Tianqi to not make money? He doesn't believe that someone does things not for money. The only possibility is that the money is not enough. So, he opened his mouth and said, "You have been working as a genius doctor. I have heard your name for a long time and know that you have no disease that cannot be cured, so I came today to ask you to see my young son." After that, he said again, "Let's do it. You close the store, I will arrange a special plane to take you to Suzhou, and I will give you 10 million when you visit. If it is cured, I will give you another 50 million. Tianqi waved his hand and said faintly, "Sorry, she only sits in clinic for a doctor now. Except for old friends, anyone who wants to see she for a doctor must come to clinic." After that, Tianqi added, "In addition, when you come to clinic to see a doctor, you must abide by my rules. I am disgusted with the behavior of driving away other guests like you, so I don't welcome you here." Tianqi has met many big people, and some of them have a higher status than Ragnar, but those big people are respectful to him. It was the first time he had met someone like the Wu family, arguing in front of him. Although the Wu family was the first family in the south of the Yangtze River, Tianqi was not afraid of them either, so he refused very simply. Ragnar frowned. He didn't expect this Tianqi to be so ignorant of admiration. He invited him to see his youngest son. He also promised a huge return. He didn't expect that he would refuse it. Annoyed, Ragnar said coldly, "Mr. Shi, I hope you can speak a little better. How famous and powerful the Wu family is, you don't need me to remind you." Tianqi snorted coldly and said arrogantly, "I have lived to this age, and my tone has always been like this. If you don't want to listen, you can go out." "You." Ragnar was furious in his heart. Since arriving in Orus Hill, he felt that the people in this place were a bit strange. For some reason, there are thorns everywhere, and his Wu family's great reputation seems to be useless in this little city. Yesterday's dinner was also the case. Solomon White, Chin Gang, and Mr. Orville were all polite on the surface, and they didn't take their solicitation into consideration. Now, this Tianqi dare to pretend to be forced by himself? Is it true that Ragnar Wu's family in Orus Hill is the raptors above the rivers? Roger saw his father's eyes with anger, and immediately realized that the opportunity was coming, so he yelled, "Old master, how do you talk to my dad? Believe it or not, I smashed your hospital today." Ragnar stopped Roger and said to Tianqi with a smile, "Don't be surprised by the genius doctor. My son is a young man. Young people have a bad temper and are easy to impulse." After all, he suppressed the anger in his heart and said, "Mr. Shi the genius doctor, I came to you, just because we want you to go to Suzhou. Suzhou is not far away from Orus Hill. The special plane can be there in 1 hour, as long as you run. This time, I will give you 10 million, what do you think?" Tianqi shook his head and said lightly, "I can't cure your son, please go back." "You." Roger immediately said angrily, "You old thing, you don't even know what the disease is, so you can't cure it by yourself? Are you kidding with our Wu family?" Ragnar, who was on the side, looked gloomy, looked at Tianqi coldly, and asked, "Dr. Tianqi, you seem to be targeting our Wu family?" Tianqi gave them a cold look, and said, "You came here today and didn't abide by my rules and drove away from my patients. Are you not targeting me?" Ragnar said coldly, I only target the poor, they don't deserve to be under the same roof as Ragnar." Tianqi sneered and said, "What a joke. All beings are equal, can you still manage other people under the same sky?" Ragnar said, "I can't manage things under the sky, but I can manage things under the eaves." After he finished speaking, he said sharply, "Tianqi, I will pay you face to visit you personally, and also prepared a generous gift for you. If you promise me, I will give you the money, and I will give you the generous gift, but if you don't promise, that would make you an enemy of my Wu family." Tianqi said, neither humble nor overbearing, I can't cure your son. If you have to be an enemy of me, then please be so. I will practice medicine for a certain life. Home, even if it's the Eastcliff Sioux family, or even the Wade family." The old master is nothing more than a life, just take it away. Regnar's expression is very ugly. He didn't expect Tianqi to be so rigid. He just drove away those paupers and stinky silks, he even choked with himself? With Tianqi's attitude, Regnar really wanted to slap his old face. After all, when has he been targeted? But thinking about it carefully, he still didn't dare to offend Tianqi. Tianqi is a national expert in traditional medicine, the top traditional medicine doctor in the country. Don't know how many big people have been treated and taken care of by him. Even the big family and big people of Eastcliff have also benefited a lot. If he really beat him, it will not be a good thing for his own PR and reputation. So, he could only endure the urge to do it first, snorted, and said, "She the genius doctor, you are also a benevolent generation of famous doctors. Why are you so sloppy today? Even my youngest son hasn't seen it, so just talk about the treatment." Not anymore? Having said that, he said again, "You can do nothing, but I want you to say this after you meet Wu Qi. So, to be a genius doctor, please take the initiative and take a trip to Regnar." Tianqi said coldly, "Regnar, what is the virtue of your little son, don't you know? Don't talk about you, even I, old master, have heard of his deeds. He has money and spoil young girls everywhere, and is particularly keen on brainwashing and controlling young girls' thoughts so that he is happy and proud of making young girls self-harm or even commit suicide. For such a person, even if Tianqi died, I would not give the treatment."